Since we got to see what you do and produce and play the drums and stuff, we want to get deeper into the life of Stone Tone. We still gonna keep it funky with the music, but we want to know the origins of it all, you know?
Gotcha.
So you can feel free, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you don't want to disclose. We're just gonna keep it raw and uncut.
For sure. Come on.
All right. So now we're gonna start about the origins. Where were you born and where were you from?
Born in Los Angeles, California. Raised in Watts, Compton, and Long Beach. So basically, those was my three squares: Watts, Compton, and Long Beach. Born in Los Angeles, but born, like I say again, raised Long Beach and Compton and Watts.
And as you were growing up, did you have any siblings, or was it just by yourself?
No, I have two sisters and a brother.
Okay, all right. How was the relationship with the siblings?
We was pretty cool, you know, growing up, doing kid shit, you know what I'm saying, that I always, you know, what other kids do. As we started growing up, you know, everybody started doing their thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a two-parent household, or was it a single parent household?
It was a single family household. We pretty much raised ourselves. Yeah.
Oh. So far as like the schools and stuff, as far as you growing up in elementary, what schools you went to?
I went to a school called Carver Elementary, which is in Compton, went to Willowbrook in Compton, and went to Centennial in Compton. Didn't pretty much finish school, dropped out at an early age, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So gang banging and stuff that kicked in, but that's another story. Go ahead.
What was like a regular day of life as a kid going to Compton schools?
Man, it was, well, the elementary days, it was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? Normal kids, but as time went on, as far as junior high school, you know what I'm saying, that's when that gang banging kicked in, I believe in 1979. You know, as us kids, you know, some of the homies we used to play with, I used to rock with in elementary school. Now they took another course, you know what I'm saying, took on the form of gang banging, so things started changing then, you know. It was really difficult to go to school because, you know, individuals recognized me from being from this side, though it wasn't gang banging. However, you know what I'm saying, if you stayed on that side, you know, you're part of that neighborhood, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it got pretty bad. That's pretty much why I couldn't go to school no more, you know. They talk about shootings in school, like the Columbine and stuff. When I was going to school, they was already doing that. Not me, but, you know, that shit was already happening. You know?
Yeah. So was this like, were you still in like elementary around this time?
No, this is like junior high school.
So was there ever any pressure during that time as you were growing up, as you was in your junior high school? Was there any pressure for you like joining the gang and stuff?
Oh, of course it was. A lot of pressure, you know what I'm saying? But my thing was this, you know, I'm gonna put it this way, you know, I was trying to funk, you know what I'm saying? And then they wanted me to gang bang, and it just wasn't mixing, you know what I'm saying? So basically, I started saying, you know what, let me just do what I do. However, you know what I'm saying, being, you know, from the streets, let me try to explain this the best I can. In other words, I said, you know what, I just didn't follow trends. I just started being me. So if you approach me, we can get down. That's just the way that's the way I started living. I said, you know, ain't nobody gonna tell me where I can go, you know what I'm saying, what I can say. You know, I had issues when I went to other neighborhoods, but I stood my ground, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't with that bullshit. Because I just couldn't see nobody, you know what I'm saying, killing over a fucking color and over a street. That shit was bullshit to me.
Okay.
However, you know what I'm saying, I do have a lot of Crip friends, a lot of blood friends, but they know what it is. You know, I do music. That's what I like. That's what I stuck to.
When this was all going on, do you have any bizarre stories that happened around that time that you can remember?
Yeah, but I don't like to talk about that shit.
So basically, that was going on, you know, with the gang banging and stuff, but you still kept it funky. You know, that's what you was about.
Yeah. My way out was the music. You know what I'm saying? You know, However, you know, like I say, you know, when I did go to some of these clubs, like that was gang banging, you know what I'm saying? Gang banging on the music, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Especially the phone. I'm like, God damn, man.
Mhm.
You know?
So going back to the family thing, did you as when y'all was in that household and stuff like that, did y'all have any like family traditions going on when you was in the household with your siblings and stuff?
Family traditions I did have was actually I would say with my great grandparents. I think, you know, I would say they was more my parents, you know what I'm saying? They taught me morals and everything. So when we did have traditions, it would be at their house. I was blessed to have both set of grandparents and both sets of great grandparents on both sides. So, you know, basically, you know, some had the traditions, some of them didn't. I hope I'm making sense.
Did you grow up in like a religion? Have any religions in the household?
Oh yeah, of course. Grew up as a Jehovah Witness, you know what I'm saying, and grew up as a Christian. So basically, like I said, one side of the family, my mama's side of the family, they were Jehovah Witnesses, and then my dad's side of the family, they were Baptist Christians. So I was kind of like rooted in both of them, and it's pretty much where I got my morals from.
All right, so going back to like your adolescence, like far as your early mid to late teen. So you say you dropped out of high school because of the gang banging per se, or
Yeah, it was just, you know, the school that I went to, it was, you know what I'm saying, it was gang banging hard. Say I stayed in this one particular neighborhood. I ain't gonna say what neighborhood it was, but we were surrounded by a bunch of bloods. So I had to go to this school. Though they knew me in elementary, knew I wasn't with the bullshit. However, it was like, nah, man, you stay over there, so you gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? So basically, that kind of stopped me from pursuing my education. My moms and pops, they wasn't really there. They was doing their thing. Me and my sisters now, we basically really, just like everybody else story. You know, we pretty much grew up on our own, and we had to make our decisions on our own on what we wanted to do.
did you always have aspirations going to college and stuff like that?
Listening to this P-Funk, I already knew what I wanted to do. That's it. What I wanted to do was music. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now you got out of your teen years and stuff, your early adult life. How was that? How was your early adult life? Like far as your early like 19 to like 21.
Still difficult. Like I say, now you have this gang banging shit in full force. So basically, you couldn't really too much go anywhere without getting shot at. It was kind of like difficult because I was still in my community, you know what I'm saying? So, then having kids, you know, man, I don't know, bro. Yeah, it was just kind of difficult.
Okay, yeah. So you said in your early 20s, like far as the gang banging and stuff, it was a little difficult road. So I know during this time, like the 80s, this was kind of like when the crack epidemic had hit, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, far as like with the community and stuff like that, could you remember during that time how it was for you during the 80s?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, that crack. Yeah, when that hit the scenes, I think that's what. Well, I know that's what destroyed all of our communities. I mean, well, not all of our communities. They destroyed the Black community. I even got caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? In that crack thing. You know, that was growing up in that era right there. It was really difficult. You know what I'm saying? For me and other people, I had some friends and stuff, some that made it and some didn't, you know what I'm saying? And some were still on the drugs and some of them still passed. I had some that passed away recently behind that that crack cocaine era. You know, yeah, that was really, that when that hit our community, it just fucked us up as a people. You know what I'm saying? Everything changed. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I hate thinking about it, but it fucked our community up.
So you say, yeah, so during those 80s, so the 80s, you saying the crack epidemic messed up the whole Black community, most of it?
Yeah, everybody was, when that when I hit our community, it man, I'm trying to explain it in words, man. It was just devastating. You know what I mean? You know, everybody, either you was smoked out or you was on crack cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, they're the same thing. And either you was dealing it or you was smoking it. You know what I'm saying? And most of the ones that was dealing it, they was gangbangers. You know what I'm saying? So you had the dealers, the gangbangers, and then you had the smokers. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, and it was just in our community. Then I noticed once it started spreading out to the other communities, you know what I'm saying, like the white community, then that's when it became a problem. When it was just our community, the black community, it wasn't a problem, you know what I'm saying, because we was killing each other. Does it make sense? Yeah, so yeah, I remember when it all first started, you know what I'm saying, and Watts, what they did was, see, back in the day, this is what I remember, and I'm gonna keep it 100. See, the way back in the days when I grew up, my grandparents and all them, they had their own houses, they had their own jobs, they had their own businesses, they had all that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I pretty much got my morals and everything from them, learning how to work, you know, doing little odd jobs, da 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 da. The black community was flourishing. You know what I'm saying? We was really a flourished community. Then once the early 80s, the late 70s start coming, that's when I noticed the gangbanging. You know what I'm saying? The gangbanging started coming in. You know, now we used to go to parades, and you know what I'm saying, and we have fun at the parades. And I remember this one particular year, it was in 1979, it was the Wasp Parade. Next thing you know, you seen gangbangers walking down the street. It was Crips and Bloods, and they start fighting and disrupting. They started disrupting in the parade. And from that day on, that's when everything changed. We was no longer a people of peace. Now we're a people of war, killing each other. You understand what I'm saying? So that's when I started noticing the change. Then the crack cocaine, when that hit in, I believe that hit in 1981. That's 1981, 82. And that's when shit really started getting out of control. Yeah, man.
So how was you around that time?
I was 17, 18. This is my can you stand by for a minute?
Yeah,
it's my boy Trey Lou right here. Let me see something. Hello?
Yeah. I'm trying to get it out.
Okay.
Views are compared to today, like modern today.
Okay.
How the kids are different, and how this generation's different.
Okay.
Okay. We in here shooting now. So this is my boy Trey Lou from Parliament right here.
What's up, Trey?
Say, hey, that's my pick.
What's up, Unc? What's
Hey,
going on?
Hey, you guys want to ask him any questions right now? Why or y'all want to catch him on the next one? Because he about to jump on the plane.
No, I can ask you right now. What's up, Trey?
How you doing?
All right. Good. I want to ask you a question. So George Clinton is your father, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to know how was it for you
Right next to the mic.
how was it for you growing up then knowing that George Clinton was your father? How was the experience for you?
Well, you know what? I grew right into, I was born right into it. So that's all I've ever known. And like they rehearsed at our apartment in Newark. You know, Eddie Hazel, Billy Bass, when I was 4 years old. So I took a liking to the whole idea of, you know, playing music. So I don't remember anything different than that. So I grew up with that period. Like then that happened later on in life, going into it. And then when they got big in '76, you know, the much connection. That's when I met Stinky Womack, Binky Womack the year after that, and I met him in like '60. I met him in '77, and we formed a band. You know, I was gung ho about being a funkadelic. I want to be in the group. You know, then we formed our own group. Now we got 4 or 5 funk bands now that we're affiliated with today. So.
Okay. Yeah, so far as saying you was born into it, so being born into it, so you already knew that doing music and funk was gonna be like your destiny?
I figured I wanted to be an actor as well. You know, I could play a little basketball, all that. But see, my mother was a singer-songwriter as well. So I was around my grandmother. She was a guitar player. So I was just around music all my life, you know. And everything that goes with that, too. You got to imagine, you know, the whole lifestyle. You know, I bear witness to that, too.
Okay. Cool. I said, man, I wish I could. I'm most definitely. I most definitely want to get you on the interview for sure. So hopefully, we can get together too again, and that we can actually get you a sit down. And I can ask you more questions and stuff. But
If I could fly to Charlotte, I don't know how long that flight is. Can't be no more than 3 hours, I guess. I don't know, because we're in Phoenix, Arizona right now. I can call you back, Stone, and if you guys are still in the mix, you know, you could chop it up some more.
No, we could do it. We could do it. We'll do it. We could do it on another time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For sure. All right, cuzzo. Have a good flight, man, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, y'all keep it fucking.
All right, for sure.
all right,
One Nation.
yeah, that was cool. Uncle Trey.
Yeah, that's my boy Trey Lou. He's part of P Union. Yeah, man. His dad is real cool, George. You know what I'm saying? Had an opportunity maybe like last month. You know, I met George a couple of times, right? But it's always when I see him like a deer in the headline, I'm like, oh, there go George, you know what I'm saying? And this last time I seen him, it was a couple of months ago, and we was in the studio, and took Tracy up there. He told me to bring Tracy, and we was in a setting just like this one right here, real cool, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a lot of people, it was just like this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm watching him, you know what I'm saying, record on the microphone, you know, it was like, you know, then we just start chopping it up, you know what I'm saying, talk about little stuff on about keyboards and stuff. There was this one house we was in, they had keyboards all over the place. They was on the walls. It was like a shrine. And I'm looking at him, George Walker, such and such, Bernie played on this. We had one of these right here, Stone. And you know what I'm saying? We was just talking like that. And what really made my day with him, he was like, he grabbed my hand and shook. He was like, keep going, little bruh. And I was like, wow, that kind of like made my day, you know what I'm saying? I think I spent that whole day with him. The next day I was chilling with him. But it's like, when I'm around him, I think the only thing I kind of regret, I don't never get no pictures. You know what I'm saying? People are like, well, why don't you never take no photos? Why don't you never take no photos? For some reason, I just don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I never been I'm a fan, but I ain't no groupie motherfucker. You know what I mean? Perhaps maybe next time you know what I'm saying, I grab a couple photos, but I know this. I've been in the room with these cats, man, and they real cool people. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I remember when George Clinton called me on my birthday, my 13th birthday. Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Hell yeah. That was that.
Tell me about that.
Oh man. It was 1977, 78. My mom's had just had a party. You know, they had a party the night before, right? So everybody was laid all on the floor. Now what it was, this is how the calling led up to. So there was a guy in the band named Glenn Goins. You know what I'm saying? He the one, if you ever seen The Landing of the Mothership, he the one to take it to church.
Right.
And when I heard he passed away, I used to call World Funk Headquarters every day. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm sorry about Glenn, blah, 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 this, you know what I'm saying? I'm writing letters, everything, you know what I mean? I'm in elementary school. This is in elementary school.
So this is before Instagram, social media, all that.
So it was like, I'm an early riser. I always get up early. You know, they say the early bird gets the worm, and I find that to be true. So I got up I think it was like 7 o'clock that morning, because after you have like Centennial and them back in the days when they have the football games, right? And the people jump up all in the bleachers, they change and they money fall out.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that was my route every Saturday morning, go up there. I come home with at least about 25, 40 bucks, you know what I'm saying? Daily, work the change, you know what I'm saying? Jury. So I'm on my way out the door and the phone rang. This was on my birthday too,
Uh-huh.
on everything. This was on my birthday.
When your birthday?
August 14th.
Okay.
August 14th, August 14th, 1966. So the phone ring, people all laid all around the house, mom's friend, da 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 da. Answer the phone, said, "Can I speak to Lorenzo?" And first thing I say, "Is this Parliament?" He's like, "Yeah, this is George Clinton for Parliament." I'm like, "Mom's Parliament on the phone." He's like, "Stop, Mom." I'm like, "Mom, Parliament on the phone." So I'm running down the street. Make a long story short, George Clinton, he sent me the first copy of One Nation Under a Groove. It was a promotional copy. And he sent me a One Nation Under a Groove birthday cake. Had it sent to the house. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'll never forget that, man. I didn't let nobody cut that cake, man. I think I had that cake in the refrigerator for like 2 years. Nobody get none of this, bro. Not even me. I ain't cutting it. Until Mom's finally threw it away. Well, anyway, yeah, that was a good time, man. I ain't gonna never forget that, man. And ever since then, that energy, you know, I think that energy from there led me up to right now. You know what I'm saying? If I'm making any sense.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have to throw that in there.
That's all good. That's all good. So going back to that too now. So how did you actually get to meet Trey Lude in there?
Well, actually, I met Trey Lude back in 89, 90. Cause I had this dude, you know what I'm saying, they used to hang out. I had this homie, and to say not to do, I had this homie that used to hang out with him. So he had came to my house a couple of times in Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? We was tripping, you know what I'm saying, doing our thing, out there tripping and shit. And after that, I pretty much never seen him again, you know what I'm saying, until I had started working on this P Union record. And then my boy Dre kind of like knew where he was hanging out at and hooked up. And then we've been chilling ever since.
Man, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to that the early 80s, mid 80s and stuff like that. You were still listening to the funk and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah, you know, Parliament was definitely stayed on the plate, but you know what I'm saying? Now you got the DJ Quicks, you know what I'm saying? The Dre's, the Scarfaces, you know what I'm saying? So that music, the Eazy-E's and stuff, that stuff had started kicking in. Well, actually, the the 80s, it was more like the Houdinis, the Run DMCs, you know what I'm saying? So that was the music that was being played. But however, you know what I'm saying, I still stuck to the funk, you know what I'm saying? But embracing some of the, you know, the newer artists and then the new talent that was coming out, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, what during that time too, was you like going to church too during that time, playing I know you said you played drums. You got into drums in the 3rd grade, and like I said, the last interview we seen you get down on them drums and stuff. So
yeah. When I really just started playing, you know, well, I got into drums, you know what I'm saying, like in the 3rd grade. However, growing up, you know what I'm saying, in between time, my sister and them was in the drill team. So I was in one of the drumline bands. So I used to play those right there, the drums and stuff, when we used to march in the parades and stuff like that. So I started picking up the sticks then, getting my rhythms together like that. Then I remember Mom's buying me my first drum set. She bought me my first drum set. I believe, what year was that? I think it was 1980. And me and my homeboys, you know what I'm saying, I had a homeboy named Nathaniel Riggins and I had a homeboy named Bismarck. And we had a band called the ONE, the One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. The ONE. So we used to practice with the One. We did a couple of shows, you know what I'm saying? We used to play at the Boys Club, did a couple of pep assemblies at Willowbrook, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, you know. Yeah, it was fun, you know what I'm saying? We was fun, and then, you know, like I say, then the drug scene came in, you know, and everybody just started going their own ways. You know, some was smoking sherm, da. You know? So the ONE, you know what I'm saying, they never I never went anywhere, but you know what I'm saying? It's still a thought in my head. You know what I'm saying? The one.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh, and yeah, that was,
So y'all had a couple of tracks already?
yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was basically freestyle. We was making up our own records. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we had a couple. We never did any recordings, but we were just playing, you know what I'm saying, our own shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Played a couple covers. It was cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Cause back in those days, man, back in the early 80s, the 70s, almost every block had a band. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, you had a garage band. That's what they got, that garage band. There was a garage band somewhere around. Everybody was practicing.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't none of this right here.
Mm-hmm.
None of this right here, electronic. Nah, you had real musicians.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And then actually, we'll go against each other. You know what I'm saying? The battle of the bands, see who the hardest. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, that's how we used to get down back in the day. Yeah.
Man.
It was everybody, like every other block, there was a band.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. And you say y'all played in the parades and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all played in the parade. Oh, okay. Cool. Played with your homeboy. Y'all was called the one.
Yeah, the ONE.
The ONE and stuff like that. Did you play for a church too, or?
Yeah, that came like later on. I had a tragedy, you know what I'm saying, lost one of my homeboys, and had a spiritual awakening. Then I started going to church. And once I started going to church, you know what I'm saying, it was just the path that I was supposed to go on. Met a few musicians, and that's when I started developing my skills playing in the church. I think that's where mostly everybody that sung back in those days, they came out the church. Yeah, they came out the church. Yep, that's where you come from. Then you go, you know, mostly everybody I knew, you know what I'm saying, when we did it, we was from the church.
Okay, got you. So this was back when late 80s?
Yeah.
So late 80s, this is when you start developing your drum set and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And then, so you said in 89, so going back, I know you talked on the last one, you said 1989, you got your first keyboard, right?
Yeah.
You got your first keyboard and stuff. So when you got your first keyboard, that's basically how you, tell me about that. Like, how did you feel when you first got that first keyboard?
Oh man, like a kid in a candy store. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Man, shoot, man. Got to punch on some keys, you know what I'm saying? Stay dedicated, man, to it, you know, until I start perfecting it, you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely that. Matter of fact, I still got some of my old cassettes, you know what I'm saying? From back in the day, some of my first music, you know what I'm saying? That I might try to recreate one day, you know? Yeah, I got some classes sitting around. Yeah.
Cool. So, did you have any kids, any children?
Oh yeah, I have 4 wonderful kids. I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. Super proud of them. You know what I'm saying? Outstanding human beings and adults, you know? Yeah.
Cool. So talk about the experience. What was it like when you had your first child? How was that like for you?
My first, it was cool, you know what I'm saying? I was still doing the music. My thing was this, when I had my kids, I knew how those streets was, you know what I'm saying? So basically, what I did, I used to, you know, I had my own, you know, I used to work and stuff like normal dad's supposed to do. But however, I had experienced some issues, you know what I'm saying, with babysitters back in the day when I was little. I don't want to talk about it, but, you know, my thing was this. Once I started having my kids, I was like, fuck that shit. I'm going to raise my own kids. So pretty much their moms worked, but I raised my kids, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't want to see them fall short to these streets like I did, like I had, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't have no dad. Well, I had a dad, but dad wasn't there. He wasn't a father, you know what I'm saying, and moms wasn't really a moms, you know what I'm saying. They just had us and they basically did their own thing, you know what I'm saying. So when I had mine, I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna raise mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, I did it at the same time raising my kids, and then I had my hands in the music though too. To be honest, I could have really been out there. You know what I'm saying? I done fucked with a lot of people, but however, you know what I'm saying, I was like, fuck that, my kids over this fucking music. Then I was just basically just taking chances to see, okay, let me see what might happen. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't leave my kids, you know what I'm saying, like that, to chase after my dream. I was like, nah, fuck that. So I was chasing the dream and raising the kids at the same time. I don't know if that making sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So like you say, you were still keeping it funky, but raising your kids and having the family and stuff like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So was it? How is it like? Far as like you say you had 4 kids, right?
Right.
So how was it like? Was it tough? Did you feel like it was a lot of pressure, or was it? Tell me how that experience.
Hell no. There wasn't no pressure. You know what I'm saying? You know, I could have did it a little differently. You know what I'm saying? But fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? I think it went the way it was supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I'm proud of mine. You know what I'm saying? And you know, fuck that. I wouldn't change shit.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a lot, but we made do with what we had. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then, you know, whatever we had, we shared.
Right.
You know? They shared. So, yeah.
Cool. So yeah. So now we're gonna talk about the do you see a big difference between growing up now? I mean, growing up during your time and the children that's growing up today. Do you see a difference, or is it the same to you?
Yeah, it's a difference.
Yeah.
It's goddamn These kids out here ain't got no damn morals. These motherfuckers rock around here, they like zombies and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Let me excuse my language, but nah, it's a difference. What I think what had happened was, you know what I'm saying, the morals, a lot of the kids, you know, like, you know, my kids' age, what happened was some of them, they wasn't raised in the church or anything like that. All that was cut out from under them. You know what I'm saying? All they knew, their parents was the gangbangers and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So how they were raised, that's who they are now. I don't know if I'm making sense. You know what I'm saying? But nah, they no. My generation, we have morals, you know what I'm saying, about though we was fucking up niggas out there gangbanging doing they shit, but they still had pops and their grandmamas and their granddaddies in their fucking ass. This generation don't have it, and they went to church.
Yeah.
This generation don't believe in none of that. So, you know, the internet has raised them and the government has raised them. You know what I'm saying? So no, it's totally different. You know, they're disrespectful, you know, to the elderly, you know, it just, bro, you know what I'm saying? I be happy to keep from losing my fines on some of their little asses when I be out there. I'm like, you motherfucker, you. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, we trying to
keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? Giving the facts and the receipts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, from my point of view, you know. Yeah, got to have the facts and the receipts. Keep it real, man. You know, that's all I know how to do is keep it real, man. I don't fake the funk with nobody.
Right. Yeah, that's what
I know some people might think this or that, but I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know that stand for that though. That's just dope. The P Union? Yeah, People United in One Nation. That's pretty dope. Yeah. So a lot of people like that concept too. They're like, oh yeah, we didn't know it stand for that. Yeah. So that's a really dope concept. We didn't know that. That's pretty dope.
Well, shit. If you look at the real cats that made it, they had concepts like Prince. He had a concept.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix. They had concepts behind what they was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why they reign like they reign. The Michael Jackson,
Right.
the Janet Jackson,
Right.
and so on and so on. You know,
Man. Dang. Yeah. Right. That's
the Rick James,
right.
you
Rick
know,
James.
the Stone
Yeah.
City Bands. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
So Rick James, he came out in the 80s too.
Nah, he from
70s.
he came out in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you was listening to Rick James and stuff too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. When Rick came out with his first album
Uh-huh.
in 1978, Come and Get It. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was at the world's greatest funk festival. Moms, like I said, moms. I went to every Parliament concert. That's where tickets was only like $12.
Uh-huh.
I was there.
Oh, for real?
Heck yeah. Sometimes mom would be up in the balcony. I remember when I went to the funk festival,
Uh-huh.
the world's greatest funk festival. That was back in 1979.
Uh-huh.
Man, I think it was a bomb concert, but it was a bad experience for me because that's when Sherm was out. It was called Sherm.
Okay.
People were smoking Sherm, taking off their clothes.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? I can remember it was me, my sister, and my uncle. And uncle was like, stay with me, blah, blah, blah. Stay with you. I've done this before. Soon as I got there, Confunction, it was a band called Confunction. They jammed and chased me, right? So I'm like, let's go up to the front stage. Next thing you know, I went up to the front stage. I turned back. I was getting smashed up against the stage because I was real little, and somebody picked me up, like, you got lost it right here.
For real?
Yeah. So now I'm looking for my uncle, you know what I'm saying, cousins and them. Make a long story short, that concert started at 12 in the afternoon, and it was over at 12 midnight, right? Man, I didn't have no food. I couldn't buy no T-shirts,
Really?
no nothing. I couldn't find, because it was at the Coliseum. There was so many people there, right? And then as soon as the concert was open, I was like, okay, well, damn, how am I gonna get home? You know what I'm saying? As soon as we walking out the concert, I walked right into the family.
Really?
So
Really?
I said, yeah. So from that point on, I really never went to concerts like festivals like that where there wasn't any seating. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't any seating, I wasn't going. You know?
Oh,
what I mean?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that, you know, that was my worst and my first bad concert experience. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Shit.
That is crazy.
Yeah, man. But it was the dopest concert because you had who was at that concert? You had, who opened up? Confunction. It was Confunction. And then it was the Barcades. You know what I'm saying? Then Rick James. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Parlette. You know what I'm saying? Then you had the Brides of Funkenstein. Then you had Bootsy Collins. And then you had Last, who closed the show with Parliament Funkadelic.
Oh, so they was a headliner. Parliament Funkadelic. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so y'all was like a squad then. That was a squad. Those was like the superstars of the time, huh?
Yeah.
Dang. So George, like you said, he the one that like set the bar high.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, going back to the 90s, a lot of 90s rappers sampled stuff from George Clinton, right?
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So he really was that dude.
Shit, I was growing up with, I actually kind of grew up with Dr. Dre. Knew Dre.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, him and my cousin, they was real close. So when I go to my cousin's house, over there off 130th and Avalon, Dre stayed like 2 doors down. So I remember me and Dre and them, we used to be in my cousin's shack, you know what I'm saying, listening to the A-track. You know what I'm saying? Bama hitting on the walls and shit, talking about Parliament. That's all we was. Parliament this, Parliament that, Parliament this. We were just funked out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And then I remember, when Dre first got his first DJing job at Eve After Dark, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I go in there with him, like, help him carry the crates of records in, you know what I'm saying? He up there DJing. I was like, okay, this is when Planet Rock, the music had started changing.
Okay.
So I was like, man, put on that Knee Deep. Every time he put on Knee Deep, it still turned the party out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man. And shit, yeah, but I ain't seen Dre. Shit, I think, no, the last time I seen Dre, he asked me to do, I don't know if you guys remember, it was a skate depot. It was called Skate Land USA. It was off of Central and 135th. So Dre couldn't do that, so he asked me to do it. And when I did that shit, motherfuckers come in there trying to steal niggas speakers and shit. Oh man, it got way out of hand.
What year was this?
Shit, I think this was like 81, 82.
Really?
Yeah. Hell yeah. You gonna never forget that shit. I was like, nah, you ain't taking my motherfucking speakers. You know? Yeah. So me and the homie, we was carrying the speakers out like that. Motherfucker trying to stack speakers, and I'm like, nah, hell nah.
Damn.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, that shit was crazy. Yeah,
man, that's pretty dope.
Then after that, I think, so that's when we stand over there off of, you know what I'm saying, off of Central, Then I end up moving to Long Beach. And I think after that, that's kind of like when I kind of like lost contact with him. You know what I'm saying? And I have never heard from him. Then next thing you know, years started going by, and then he come to Chronic.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh shit.
I
remember when I first listened to the Chronic, man, we was, I thought it was Parliament. I was like, wait a minute, that sound like Make My Funk the P-Funk. I was like, well, who is that? It was like Dre. I'm like, Dre?
Yeah.
So I called my cousin, man, what, Dre got a new album out? Yeah, he just dropped the Chronic, whoop, the whoop, the whoop, I was like, man, I need to hook up with him, man, telling him I got these beats. But it never transpired, you know what I'm saying? So basically, now hip hop had taken a whole nother change now. Now it's about this gangster shit, you know what I'm saying? So started listening to Dre, DJ Quick, and Scarface, you know what I'm saying? And that's when I really started developing my skills on the MPC, you know what I'm saying? Because we had the West Coast sound, we had the Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg, that was the sound, you know what I'm saying? So basically, really, now to this day, that's where my sound come from. And they're probably dated now, but back in the days, that's what it was all about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's interesting. That's real interesting. Yeah. Never knew that. That's dope. That's pretty dope, really.
I went to school with Dre. We went to the 10.
Oh, he went there too?
Yeah, he went to the 10.
Oh, I thought he went to Compton High.
Nah, he just helped, because Compton High was so popular, you know what I'm saying? That was one of the main schools in Compton. Actually, Compton High was our rivalry, Centennial. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, that school, my uncles went to that school, my aunties went to that school, grandparents went to that school, you know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Oh, okay. So you lived on the side where you lived on Centennial side, like Central side, in a sense.
Yeah, well, actually, was actually the neighborhood that I lived in. Our neighborhood was called the 8 Ball. You know what I'm saying? But however, we were surrounded by, where on my side, it's a neighborhood called Carver. They was Crips. So basically, we was really surrounded by all that. So you had the Bunny Hunters, then you had the Miller Gangsters, you had the Antis Parks, then you had the Treetops, so it was like we right here off of Central, you know what I'm saying? But everything else around us, it was Bloods. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, gotcha.
So, but this part right here where I would say a little small section, it was Crips. But our neighborhood wasn't Crip. We had called ourselves the 8 Ball Panther Party.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? We still trying to push that shit. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit I'm just thinking about right now that I forgot about. Yeah, we was called the 8 Ball. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep this 8 right here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't no gang banging with y'all.
We was still pushing that 8 Ball Panther Party. But however, once I moved to Long Beach, then the whole neighborhood just turned to, you know what I'm saying, Carver Park, Now I'm in Long Beach now. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yes. So you were never really with that stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, Pops, you know, sometimes I go to Pops, because Pops lived in the Nixon Garden, and he lived in the Jordan Down Project. So I knew cats from the Jordans, and I knew cats, you know what I'm saying, in the Nixons, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang. So you mentioned you got shot at before?
Yeah, man, I was going up El Segundo. I had my boom box, man, and I was just leaving the house. I was on my way up to my cousin's house, and some cats walked up on me, rode their bikes up on me, trying to take my radio from me. And I'm like, man, you ain't taking my radio. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, the young cat pulled out a little 22 and started busting at me. Bow, 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 bow. You know what I'm saying? I dropped the radio and started running, man. I'm breaking for my damn life. So I was like, from that point on, I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little cat. I was like, motherfuckers is really out here trying to kill me. So what I started doing, I knew where my mama kept her gun at. So I started carrying my mama's gun. You know what I'm saying? So in case that ever happened again, I was gonna bust back. Yeah, man, but that, you know, I fear for my life on that day, you know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, man, I still think about it right now, man. Cats really start busting on me, you know what I'm saying? Yep.
Yeah.
So after that, I pretty much, you know what I'm saying, okay, I was like, okay, I'm not gang banging, but I had to carry a piece, you know what I'm saying, to protect myself. And basically, you know what I'm saying, I stopped walking. I was like, okay, from this point on, I had to start catching the bus. Yeah.
And this one you stayed in Compton?
Yeah.
Okay, Compton, okay.
See, the thing about where I stayed at, it was borderline. So I can walk across the street and I'll be in Compton, then I'll walk right back across the street, I'll be in Watts. You know what I'm saying? And I could walk across this street right here and I'll be in LA. So it was like, I was on the borderline. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always say, you know, the state I grew up in Compton, Watts, and Long Beach, because everything was borderline. So if I want to go over Grant's house, I got to go across this street, I'm in Compton. You know what I'm saying? Go over to my other grandfather's house, go across this line, I'm in LA. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to my other grandmother's house, go across there, I'm in Long Beach. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Right.
So basically, your grandparents really raised you more, or your parents?
Well, I look to my grandparents because they had the morals. So, like I say, moms and them they didn't do their part. So we needed clothes, food, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We go to our grandparents' house. We'll walk to their house.
Oh, okay.
That's just how close everything was. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody lived in the vicinity.
Okay. Yeah, and like you said, going from LA, Compton, and Long Beach, it was more, LA, Compton, and Long Beach, it was like basically like a gumbo pot.
Right.
That's basically what it was, a gumbo pot. So, yeah. Well, all right. But all right, again, I appreciate your interview, Stone Tone the Clone.
Yeah.
We hope to have you again soon. A lot of content, a lot to share. We love your story, and we see you again.